guys, welcome to the channel. Now, if you've been watching from the beginning, you know that I enjoy brewing my own mead. And I've been doing it for over a decade now, and I've kind of got to a point where I have consistent batches, I know what I like, and I've always been kind of curious to see how it stacks up to a production mead, a store-bought mead. I've never actually had store-bought mead before. I've only ever brewed my own. I found this at my local grocery store for about 12 bucks, and I got curious. I had to try it. How does it stack up to a homebrew mead? And is this even what mead is supposed to taste like? I have no idea. It's how my mead tastes. I like it. Does it taste like what a professional thinks mead is supposed to taste like? And that's what I'm going to find out tonight. Well, guys, I can't lie to you, though. This is not actually mead. I don't brew traditional meads mainly because they require more nutrients, they require more chemicals for the yeast to do its happy thing where it dies a wonderful death of alcohol poisoning. In order to get your true conversion of sugars to alcohols with just honey, you need to add something else in. And since I don't really like adding a whole lot of additives or chemicals, I usually add in a little bit of apple juice. So this is technically a sizer and not a true mead. I know it's not true apples to apples, but this is mostly mead with, in a gallon batch, this only has 2 cups of apple juice. So for all intents and purposes, it is a mead with a little bit extra. They add a bunch of other stuff in here that's not just honey, water, yeast, and a little bit of apple juice. But we're going to taste mine first. I know what this tastes like. I know I like it. You can see right off the bat, it is not as clear. It's cleared up nicely, but it's not nearly as clear as the store-bought stuff. Smells good. Smells like honey. Right off the nose, of course. It's what it's going to smell like. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, I do like my mead. That is nice. Oh, that is perfect. That is so good. Mead on the aftertaste, at least my meads, has a nutty quality to it, almost cashew, almond going on. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, it's got a little bit of tang from the apple, a little bit of, it's not citrus, but it's got a little bit of acidity, and it's really, really nice. Now, I have brewed once before I did it, and truly, I didn't love it. It was very one-dimensional. The one time that I actually brewed straight mead, and I bought some yeast nutrient, and I used yeast nutrients to get the full alcohol conversion, and it was bland. Not bland, because it had a lot of flavor. It just was very one-dimensional. I think that's probably the best descriptor for my plain mead. Now, when you add in a little bit of this apple cider, oh, it's good. It is really, really nice. Now, if you've never had mead before, it's kind of winey. It has a little bit of wine characteristics, but it also has a lot of like a stout, not a stout, but it just has this beery, this more dense, bolder, bigger flavor profile than your traditional wine from grapes. It doesn't taste like wine, but it has a little bit of that vibe, more so than beer does. It's got a higher alcohol content, and now I don't actually measure my alcohol content, so I'm not entirely sure what this is. 10 to 12 is a solid guess as to where this is going to be at. Yeah, that is well rounded. That is nice. It's got good body, a little bit of tang from the apples coming through, just a little bit. It finishes very smooth, goes down smooth. There's no burns. There's not a lot of alcohol flavoring going on whatsoever. Now, this is not a sweet mead. If I ever want to sweeten my meads, I'll not back sweeten. I won't do it in the bottle. I will actually add a simple syrup or a honey syrup to the mead. Post fermentation, I won't back sweeten it all in the bottle. One, because I don't want to blow my bottles up. In order to add a bunch of sugar for a tertiary fermentation or a back sweeten. You have to kill all the yeast, and I don't have a real great way of doing that. So I just don't do it. And if I want a sweeter mead, I'll just add some simple syrup to the glass itself. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. All right, let's try the store bought one. I am really curious. Now, for those of you that want to know, this is Honeywood since 1934. It is an Oregon mead, which is kind of cool. A traditional wine made from honey, 11% alcohol by volume. Doesn't really give any information as far as what goes into this particular brew. It kind of just goes into some history of the 10th century drink, a honey-based drink called mead, originally discovered by monks who used excess honey to produce a superior drink. And it goes on to talk about how it was used by Vikings and so on, but doesn't give you a lot of information into this particular brew. And let's give it a try. Not very fancy with its screw off top, but that's okay. Let's see. I don't even know if this is going to be a dry mead or a sweet mead. I have no idea. I've made a couple sweet meads, and I gotta say, in general, if it's cloyingly sweet, it's not really what I want to sip on. I'll mix it with something else, but just for a sipping mead, I prefer the drier side. So, smell on the nose. This smells like wine. This smells like a white wine. That's so just 180 from the nose on this. Yeah, mine smells way better. Mine smells a lot better. This smells like, I don't want to say a cheap white wine, but a cheap white wine. Oh, it's sweet. It is incredibly sweet. This tastes like wine. This tastes like Moscato. Um, wow, that is. Now, when I've brewed straight mead, I did it the one time. It didn't taste anything like this. This is just completely different. This is kind of actually not what I was expecting. I expected my meads to kind of taste, I don't know, like mead. And then a traditional mead. And this looks like just a straight traditional mead. This tastes like white wine. If you just poured this in my glass and did not tell me that it was wine, I would say like a Moscato. That just off the top of my head, this tastes like a sweet dessert wine, like grape wine. I don't know. I'm not even getting huge honey notes on this at all. Oh, and it's sweet. It's just so sugary. Yeah, you don't want to drink a lot of that. You gotta mix that up. I'm not a big sweet wine guy though. Just I like my stuff more dry. Woo! Even after you take a sip, it just lingers the sweetness. I mean, it is just coated. This is so sugary. This is like Kool-Aid sugary. I mean, it's just syrupy maple syrup sweet. Yikes. Not anything I'd ever want to buy. I'm really disappointed. I want this to be good. I want this to be a fun comparison. I mean, it is a fun comparison. I wanted this to be a more a tight race. This is just this one is so much better. It's so much better. This is ugh. No, not for me. I'm trying to pick up any discernible honey characteristics on this at all. And I will say it's got some tang to it, which I was not expecting at all. It's got some acidity, and if they're just brewing honey, they had to add something, some citric acid or tartaric acid. They had to add something post fermentation to get that acidity going on because honey just doesn't have that zing in your mouth like this is having right now. Oh yeah, no, nope, not for me. Not for me. Give me some more of this stuff. This is a year old, aged in the bottle, if you're wondering. And I will say, one of the cons of mead is you have to have some patience if you're making this stuff yourself, because I found, for me, I find that it's not super enjoyable anything post 6 months in the bottle. You've really got to let this stuff age. Otherwise, it has a powerful yeasty alcohol note, but this stuff, no alcohol. Oh, it is light and refreshing and delicious. It is a 180 departure from what's going on in this bottle right here. Well, I'm not going to say that all home brewed mead is better than store bought stuff. It's just better than Honeywood store bought stuff. Now, they could make different variations. This is the only stuff I've ever seen in a store before. Not that I've really looked for mead, because I brew my own and I like my own, so it's not something I want to go out and spend money on. But I thought it'd be interesting, and it has definitely been kind of eye opening. It doesn't make me want to go out and find more meads. If this is what people are selling as mead, I'll just stick with what I make, because it is worlds better. And it's so easy. It's so easy to make this stuff. You put it in a gallon jug, water, yeast, honey, a little bit of apple juice, put an airlock on it. I forget it. I'm very low tech, very old school, I guess. There's a lot of people who do all sorts of crazy scientific calculations for meat, and who knows, they might end up with a way better product. They probably do. But for me, this is just easy, it's fun, simple, and delicious. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. It's been really fun.